Hey guys, Kira Sherman here. Haven't reached out in a while. I've been busy. I've been working with a lot of you guys. I was off in a retreat that some of you were at with me. It was a really beautiful experience. And I just wanted to drop in and drop a note to you guys, a little video just to say hey to the community and share a little bit of wisdom that I felt to share today, and just let you know that I'm still here and I'm still, working and doing this work and, and sharing the content that I provide. And at some point, I'm going to get better at delivering more content more often. Brian at the retreat, shout out to Brian, was like, I only get an email from you every once in a while. It'd be nice to hear from you a little bit more, So I will endeavor to create a little bit more content. I've got some things kind of on the forecast in terms of doing a new podcast and collaborating with a friend on that and working on getting on more podcasts. I'm also going to be promoting my mentor July 15th. So save the date. If you are in the US, and even if you're not, it's one of the most profound experiences of my life. So I'll send you more details about that when we actually start getting the pages up and running where you can buy tickets. I have a code for $100 off to that event. I will be there as well. So stay tuned on that. But the thing that I just wanted to share today is, I think sometimes maybe you don't think you live in fear, or maybe you don't even realize how much you can live in fear. But I just want to remind you that you can always make a new decision. So no matter what you're going through, and I speak from personal experience on this, no matter what you're going through, no matter what you're facing in your business, in your personal life, in your relationships, in your health, you can always make a decision. And the decision is always one of, number one, acceptance. Whatever the challenge is, just being with something. I recently did a podcast on Chris Murray's podcast. Some of you are followers of her work. She does Child Care Academy coaching. And, I said to her on her podcast, if you were just to take 5 minutes every time you were uncomfortable and just sit in that discomfort, and I teach people and clients how to do that in order to move through the discomfort, in order to move through the anxiety, just taking 3 deep breaths in before having a reaction, right? And what I mean by that is you may be having a reaction internally, but if you're running a business, you're working with a team, or you have a partner that maybe you might usually take things out on, or a child or a parent, is just staying with the moment, taking 3 deep breaths in, and instead of reacting, finding a sense of stability in your body. Because what happens is in my experience, an emotion kind of floods into the body, and you want to act from that emotion. You want to act from that, that feeling that can sometimes be there, the discomfort that arises, or the impatience, or whatever form it takes. It's just like, oh, I don't want to feel this way. And there's a lot of power in just being with that feeling for a minute, taking a few deep breaths in, not pushing the feeling aside. I'm not talking about suppression. I'm not talking about spiritual bypass. I'm just saying giving a little bit of space to the discomfort, giving a little bit of space to what's happening in your circumstances before going out and making a bunch of financial decisions or fixing, improving, or changing. A lot of times my clients actually tell me that if they give certain situations and circumstances in their business or in their personal lives a little bit of space, a lot of times those stories resolve themselves. So just a super trick from me to you is, if you give some things just a little bit of space, sometimes you notice that actually someone else fixes the problem, or you don't feel the same way about it after taking those 3 deep breaths in and just relaxing into the discomfort and saying, okay, great. Another hack I can give to you, I'm not big on tips or whatever, I just don't know how else to say it. It's like, practice this in an elevator. If you're uncomfortable with silence, take a moment and be with the silence, even though nobody's saying anything. There's a lot of power in just being with silence and being comfortable in silence and allowing yourself to be uncomfortable in certain moments, Because when you're uncomfortable based on a reaction, or you learn to be comfortable with that discomfort, you find that you're not in resistance to the emotions, or you're not in resistance to what's actually happening, and you allow yourself to feel how you feel about what's happening. And that allows the discomfort to actually dissipate. Okay, I teach people how to do this. I've been doing it myself for over 10 years. I know that it's effective and I know that it works, even though something in your mind right now might be in resistance to it. Maybe it's not, but I just wanted to share that with you. And the final thing that I wanted to share today is, so that's an acceptance process. But I just want to say that most people go into fear, or not most people, but a lot of people go into fear because they don't believe that they have choice, that they're stuck between a rock and a hard place, or they don't know the way out of a certain circumstance, whether it's causing discomfort or not. Maybe it requires a solution. And so I just want to remind you that it is always, 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 always possible to make a new decision. People say, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to address this, I have to do that. Question the mind that says, I have to, I should, I'm expected to, I need to, because there's a lot of noise that can be in the mind that says, well, this is the way it is and this is what I have to do. And sometimes you'll notice it's actually not true, because if you want to live in a space of infinite possibilities, limitless possibilities, where you can actually apply those infinite possibilities to a particular circumstance, you have to be willing to open up and, you could say, connect with your intuition, or at least just understand that you have options. They may not be options you want to face. They may be options that even make you even more uncomfortable, like taking a risk, for example, to start a new business or start a new part of a business or let someone in your business go. Whatever those decisions that you're making, it's just the ability that you have to say, wait a second, I do have a choice. I'm not a slave to my business. I'm not a slave to my financial circumstances. And rather than getting smaller and shrinking, which is what a lot of people do, and they say, well, I guess I have to cut on my spending, it's, why don't you think bigger? And by thinking bigger, I mean, consider what other possibilities might be available to you. Open your mind, open your heart to feeling into your intuition and looking for the creative answer, right? I talk about Einstein a lot, because do you think that Einstein sat there and went, well, there's no solution. Guess we're not going to discover the great new thing in physics that's going to change the world, right? He didn't do that. He sat there and he dug inside of himself. He dug into imagination. He dug into creativity. He started thinking creatively. He used his intuition. If you can make that space instead of coming from reaction, you'll find that a lot of creative solutions find you. For example, just to make this relatable, because you're not Einstein and neither am I, quite frankly, but think about a time when you couldn't find the remote control. And then maybe you went and you let it go. You went and did something else in your house. Maybe you took your dog for a walk, and it just pops in your mind, and you can visualize where exactly you left it. Oh, I know where it is. Or there's a problem that you came across in your business, and you're in the shower and you have this idea. And the idea is, oh my God, why didn't I ever think of that before? That would be an amazing solution. Oh my God, I'd love to do that. But when you're sitting there small, nitpicking at the problem and in resistance to the problem, it's like the solution doesn't present itself. So this is just a reminder to give you some space, to remember that you don't have to put out every fire as it comes at you, that you can take a moment, take a walk, use space as a way to expand your mind into creative solutions, and have a little bit of patience. Trust the process. And you can always make a new decision. If there's something in your life that you don't love, and it's not coming from an old wound or something that's not whole and complete with you, not a reflection, but if it's something that's just like, you know what, I want to experience something different, but I don't know how, just know that the act of deciding is what begins to build you into how. And all you have to do is take the first step. And the first step is always just deciding, I need to do something different, so that you don't stay in fear, so that you don't stay in lack, so that you don't look at how as a way to prevent you from making the decision. You can always make a decision to change something in your life, to love something new. All right, that's all you got for me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you have any questions, please reach out. I love to hear from you guys.